University Challenge. Asking the questions, Amol Rajan.
Hello and welcome to University Challenge. There are just two places in this year's quarterfinals still up for grabs, and fighting it out for one of them tonight are teams from the largest universities of Wales and Northern Ireland. Only a win will keep them in the competition. This round does not have the safety net of a repechage. In round one, Cardiff University opened their series account with an impressive win over St Andrews in one of the closest heats of the round. The lead changed hands several times, but in the final minutes, St Andrews made a couple of unforced errors on which Cardiff were very happy to capitalise. Cardiff played quickly and confidently throughout the match, picking up points on Hindu mythology, musical notation and catastrophes, though they did get a little bit bogged down in a set about numbered physical laws. Let's meet them for the second time.
Hello, my name's Kyle Gilbert. I was born in Worcester and I'm studying history.
Hi, my name is Rosalie Tarsala. I'm from Arcadia, California, and I'm doing a master's in data science.
And their captain.
Hi, I'm Connor Boyling. I'm from Dartford in Kent and I study history and economics.
Hi, I'm Henrik Holm. I'm from Manchester and I'm studying physics.
Queen's University Belfast booked their place in this second round, what seems like a very long time ago now, by beating Liverpool in the first match of the series. Queens were perhaps slightly fortunate that their opponents made more incorrect interruptions in that game than any other team in the round, but they did make the most of every starter they took, converting an impressive 80% of their bonuses. They were particularly strong on pop music, national flags and urban planning, and only really struggled with astronomy. Let's meet the team from Queen's Belfast once again.
Hi, I'm Sarah Carlisle. I'm from Ballinhinch and I'm studying English with creative writing.
Hi, I'm Jason McKillen from Belfast and I'm studying for a PhD in artificial intelligence.
And their captain.
Hi, I'm Daniel Rankin from County Down, studying politics, philosophy and economics.
Hi, I'm Sam Thompson. I'm from Limavady and I'm studying physics.
How you feeling, guys? Feeling good?
Nervous.
Great.
Nervous, yeah, you look nervous. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Best of luck, fingers on buzzers. Here is your first starter for 10. Which 17th century natural philosopher gives his name to all of the following? A geometric theorem known as the mystic hexagram theorem, formulated when he was just 16. A physical law stating that pressure applied to a confined fluid is transmitted equally in all directions. A derived SI unit equal to 1 Newton per square metre.
Queen's ranking.
Pascal.
It is Blaise Pascal, yes. Your bonuses, Queens, are on flags. The national flag of which island country depicts a gold frigate bird flying over a gold sun, which is rising over blue and white waves?
Kiribati, yeah.
Kiribati.
Yes. A gold bosun bird appears in the upper fly of the flag of which non-sovereign island territory? The flag also includes a map of the island in green on a golden disc and the Southern Cross in the lower hoist.
Christmas Island or something? Christmas Island, go for it. Yeah.
Christmas Island.
Yes. Which island country's national flag includes a soaring golden bird of paradise in its upper fly and a Southern Cross in its lower hoist?
It's got to be something from Oceania.
Fiji a bird?
I don't think so.
You could guess.
Nauru or something? No, it's not that.
Palau, maybe?
No, it's like a circle.
Micronesia?
No, it's four circle. Just Fiji, maybe.
Go for it.
Fiji.
No, it's Papua New Guinea.
Oh.
Let's start a question. I need a single short word here. At the end of his sonnet, Cromwell, our chief of men, Milton writes, "Help us to save free conscience from the paw of hireling wolves whose gospel is their what?" Towards the end of Romeo and Juliet, Romeo uses the same word, preceded by the adjective detestable, to refer to Juliet's tomb. It is defined as the jaws and throat of a voracious animal.
Cardiff Boiling.
Jowls.
No.
Queen's Carlisle.
More,
It is,
M-A-W.
yes, more M-A-W, exactly right. Your bonuses, Queen, are on films for which Ennio Morricone was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Score. Give the title of each film from the description. First, a 1978 film by Terrence Malick, starring Richard Gere and Brooke Adams as lovers.
Days
Bill
of Heaven.
Yes. Secondly, a 1986 film by Roland Joffe, set in Paraguay in the 1750s. Robert De Niro plays Mendoza, a Portuguese slave trader seeking redemption for killing...
The Mission.
Yes. Finally, a 1987 film by Brian De Palma starring Kevin Costner as Prohibition agent Elliot Ness.
The Untouchables.
Yes. Let's start the question. In 1983, the media proprietor Robert Maxwell attempted to merge which two English League football clubs, despite outcry and protest from fans of both? Maxwell was then chairman of one, while the other was located in a large town nearly 40 kilometres to the southeast. And the proposed name of the new club was Thames Valley Royals.
Cardiff boiling.
Arsenal and Tottenham?
No.
Queen's Thompson.
QPR and Crystal Palace.
No, it was Oxford and Reading. I don't think even Maxwell could have got Arsenal and Tottenham to be together. Let's start the question. I need the name of a filmmaker here. A public service announcement about littering that shows New York City overrun with swarming rats. A film for Adidas featuring close-ups of pumping blood vessels and the inside of a runner's gaping mouth. And a film for PlayStation 2 called Welcome to the Third Place, in which a disembodied arm, a mummy and a man with a duck for a head wait at the end of a maze of corridors.
Queen's ranking.
David Lynch.
It is David Lynch. Well done. Your bonuses, Queens, are 3 questions on a subatomic particle. The effects of dark energy can be studied by investigating acoustic oscillations named for what class of subatomic particles? A subset of hadrons that includes protons and neutrons.
It's not leptons. It's baryons. Yeah, I think it is baryons.
Yes. To explain the universe's excess of baryonic matter compared to antimatter, which Soviet physicist proposed a set of 3 namesake conditions for baryogenesis? He later won the 1975 Nobel Peace Prize for his work on human rights.
Could be Andrei Sakharov.
It's Sakharov, yeah.
Sakharov.
Yes. Often known by a 7-letter term, what concept did Werner Heisenberg introduce to explain the similarities between protons and neutrons? This quantum number is always conserved in strong interactions.
The only thing I think of quantum is superposition, things like that, but that's not 7 letters.
Just even
Could it be entropy, maybe?
Yeah,
7 letters?
it could be, yeah. Entropy?
No, it's isospin.
Okay.
Picture round now, and for your picture starter, you're going to see a diagram of a physics experiment. For 10 points, identify the law that is being tested.
Queen's ranking.
Rutherford's Law.
No. You may not confer, but someone can have a go if you want, Cardiff. No, I'll tell you. It's the inverse square law of gamma radiation. We'll take your picture bonuses in a moment. In 1979, the artist David Wojnarowicz released a series of photographs of people wearing masks of which French poet? An image taken from the cover of his work Illuminations. Born in 1854, he is the author of the sonnet Voyelle and the...
Queen's ranking.
Rambo.
Yes. For your picture starter, Queens, you saw the setup of the experimental equipment used for measuring the inverse square law of gamma radiation. Your picture bonuses will be diagrams of 3 more experimental setups used in physics. First, name the scientist who gives his name to the law demonstrated by this experiment.
The only thing that stands out is the sulfuric acid.
Yeah, I think. Is it like just Boyle or something? It might be Boyle's Law. Yeah, okay. Boyle.
No, that's Charles's law. Second, again, name the scientist who gave his name to the law being tested here.
Hook.
You sure?
Yes.
Could be Young, maybe. Yeah, okay. Hook, yeah. Hook.
No, I can see why you said that, but this is Boyle's law, I'm afraid. Oh, no. And finally, give the name of the scientist who devised this experiment.
That's Young's double slits.
Young?
Young.
Yeah. Young.
That is Thomas Young, yes, well done. Let's start the question now. What is the common English name of the wildflower known in Russian as the Nietzabudka, in Spanish as No me olvides, and in German as...
Queen's McKillen.
Forget-me-not.
It is the forget-me-not, yes, well done. 3 questions for you, Queens, on money in the novels of Charles Dickens. An exploration of the corrupting power of money. In which novel does Bella Wilfer declare, I have money always in my thoughts and my desires, and the whole life I place before myself is money, money, money?
Eddie.
We're all looking at me and I don't read Dickens. I really should.
Bleak House or something?
Yep.
Go for it.
Bleak House.
No, it's our mutual friend. In which novel does the narrator confess, we spent as much money as we could and got as little for it as people could make up their minds to give us? He begins to acquire debt after joining a club called the Finches of the Grove.
It's not a lot of twist up, but
It's not going to be Great Expectations.
Like a name title,
David Copperfield.
maybe.
Nicholas Nickleby, maybe?
Yeah, go for Nicholson.
You sure? Yeah. Nicholas Nickleby.
Great Expectations. Finally, which character in David Copperfield offers this advice to David? Annual income £20, annual expenditure £20, ought and 6. Result, misery.
Characters in David Copperfield.
David Copperfield.
Yeah, okay, David Copperfield.
No, it's advice to David. That's from Mr. McCorber. Let's start around. Plenty of time, Cardiff. See if you get going with this one. Which author and anthropologist wrote the novels Jonah's Gourd Vine and Seraph on the Suwannee, as well as a well-known 1937 novel influenced by her fieldwork collecting African-American folklore titled Their Eyes Were Watching God?
Queen's ranking.
Hurston.
It is Zora Neale Hurston, yes. 3 questions for you, Queens, on techniques in Cajun cooking. An adaptation of the classical French mirepoix, the Holy Trinity in Cajun cuisine is an aromatic base made by frying diced vegetables, traditionally onion, celery, and what other item in place of the carrot in a mirepoix?
Is it pepper?
Pepper.
Pepper.
I'll accept that. It's usually green pepper specifically, but other colours are sometimes used. Meaning smothered, what French term is used in Cajun cuisine for a one-pot stew in which the main ingredient, typically crayfish or shrimp, is braised with vegetables in water or stock?
Gumbo.
No, it's etouffee. Closely associated with the chef Paul Prudhomme, what specific term denotes the Cajun technique of dredging meat or fish in spices and pan-frying it over a high heat to create a dark, charred crust?
I don't know. We could say gumbo again, but it's not gumbo.
Not too sure.
Gumbo.
No, it's blackening or blackened. Let's start the question now. Edinburgh of the Seven Seas is the capital and only...
Cardiff Gilbert.
St. Helena?
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. And only settlement on which island in the South Atlantic? It forms part of a British overseas territory whose capital is Jamestown, just under 2,500 kilometres to its north on St. Helena.
Queen's ranking.
Tristan da Cunha.
It is. Bad luck, Cardiff. Your bonuses then, Queens, are on named symphonies. The third symphony of the 19th century German composer Emily Meyer has been given what name due to the extensive use of percussion in its final movement? She may have modelled her work on Joseph Haydn's Symphony No. 100, which shares the same nickname.
Third Symphony, percussion.
Storm or
Yeah.
hurricane or something like that. I don't know. It's just a guess.
Storm.
No, it's military. Which composer's pastoral symphony ends with a wordless solo for soprano or tenor over sustained notes in the violins? He stated that it was written in response to his military service in the First World War.
It's not Beethoven, obviously. Like, I was thinking English even.
We Benjamin Britten.
Britain. I know he's younger than that, I think. Like Vaughan Williams, maybe.
Go for it.
Vaughan Williams.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say Beethoven. Paul Williams is correct. Finally, what name is given to Beethoven's E-flat major symphony composed between 1802 and 1804, originally dedicated to Napoleon Bonaparte?
Eroica.
Yes, correct. Music round now, and for your music starter, you'll hear an extract from an opera. Simply name the composer.
Queen's ranking.
Puccini.
It is Puccini. Well done. Following Your Tiny Hand is Frozen from Puccini's La Bohème. Your music bonuses, Queens, are 3 more well-known operatic excerpts that reference hands. Name the composer of each. First for 5 points, this English composer.
What are you thinking here? Like if that's old Purcell, you know. Yeah. Yes, Purcell. Yeah, Purcell.
Yes, from Dido and Aeneas. Secondly, this Italian composer.
I don't think it's Verdi.
It's not.
Could be
I
like
don't think it's Verdi.
Donizetti or something.
I don't think it's Verdi, but I don't really even know what's written.
Donizetti.
Go for it.
Donizetti.
No, that was Verdi from Macbeth. And finally, who composed this?
I actually think I recognise it, but I don't know where from.
What language even is that? Is that Italian, right?
Donizetti? Was it? Don't try Donizetti.
Donizetti.
No, it's Mozart from Don Giovanni. Let's start a question. Meanings of what six-letter word include, in mathematics, a connected open set in a topological space, in biology, a distinct structural unit of a protein, in computing, a group of computer addresses on the internet, and...
Queen's Thompson.
Strand.
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. And in taxonomy, the rank that comes above kingdom.
Cardiff Boiling.
Domain.
It is domain, yes, well done. This could be the beginning of an amazing run, Cardiff.
We're ready.
Your bonuses are on experiments on DNA that prefigured the discovery of the double helix. In the landmark Hershey-Chase experiment of 1952, DNA was shown to be the genetic material by isotope labeling of both the DNA and the protein coat of which bacteria infecting viruses?
Bacteria infecting phages.
Bacteriophages?
Bacteria.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bacteriophages?
Yes. Prefiguring the base pairing of nucleotides, which biochemist, born in Austria-Hungary in 1905, gives his name to the rule stating that the amount of adenine in DNA is equal to that of thymine and guanine to that of cytosine.
Who's the base pair?
I don't know.
What's a good name? Hook?
Hook?
No, that's Erwin Chargaff. A few months prior to the publishing of the double helix structure, which US chemist and future Nobel laureate proposed a triple helix model of DNA inspired by his earlier work on alpha helices in proteins?
I don't know.
Nobel Prize winner?
Hook again.
Yeah.
Hook again.
Hook?
No, it's Linus Pauling. Let's start the question. Composed about 1,500 years ago, Chilla Patikaram, or Tale of an Anklet, is an early epic poem in what language? Its settings include the capitals of the Chera Kingdom and the Chola Kingdom.
Cardiff Boiling.
Tamil?
It is Tamil, yes. Your bonus is part of 3 questions on a recent piece of British art. Which Turner Prize and Oscar-winning filmmaker made the 24-minute wordless film Grenfell, one continuous shot from a helicopter circling the tower in the aftermath of the fire in 2017?
Steve McQueen. Might be.
Yeah. Steve McQueen?
Yes, in an essay accompanying the film, who wrote, "Thus, the true horror of these killings is that they present in capsule form a deeply disturbing illustration of the morbidity of institutions in contemporary Britain." A leading cultural theorist, his noted works include There Is No Black in the Union Jack and The Black Atlantic.
Political theorist. I don't know.
No.
No.
Benjamin Zephaniah?
That's cool. No, Benjamin. That sounds good.
Benjamin Zephaniah?
Not the late Benjamin Zephaniah, no, it's Paul Gilroy. Following a period of community outreach and private community viewings, prioritising bereaved and survivors, which modern art gallery in Kensington exhibited Grenfell to the public in April and May 2023?
Tate Modern? Yes, sir.
Tate Modern?
No, it's a Serpentine. Let's start the question. Commemorated by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, the CLC was a non-combatant force recruited in what country during the later years of World War I? Numbering almost 100,000 by the armistice, its members performed logistic roles and later battlefield clearance.
Queen's Macmillan.
Canada?
No. Anyone from Cardiff? You may not confer.
Cardiff Boiling.
Sri Lanka?
No, the answer is China. And I'm sorry, Queens, but you do lose 5 points for a wrong interruption. Now let's start the question. In medicine, for what do the letters AI stand in the abbreviation NSAID, referring to a class of therapeutic drugs that includes diclofenac, naproxen, and ibuprofen?
Queen's Macmillan.
Anti-inflammatory?
Is exactly right. Yes, well done. 3 questions for you, Queens, on people born in the 19th century. The surnames of all 3 begin with the same letter. Which German foreign minister gives his name to the telegram of 1917 that proposed an alliance between...
Zimmerman.
Yes. Which prominent figure in the Mexican Revolution proposed the document known as the Plan of Ayala? He was killed in an ambush in 1919.
Yeah. Zapata.
Yes. Which Soviet marshal commanded the defense of Leningrad in the Second World War?
Zhukov.
Yes, well done. Picture round now, and for your picture starter, you're going to see a painting by an American artist. For 10 points, give me the artist's name.
Queen's Rankin.
Whistler.
No. You can have a bit more time, Cardiff, but you may not convert.
Cardiff Boiling.
Hook?
That renowned physicist and artist. No, it was John Singer Sargent. We'll take your picture bonuses in a moment. Now, let's start the question. Which former Leeds Rhinos player was made an MBE in the 2021 New Year's Honours List for services to rugby and to motor neurone disease awareness, having been diagnosed with MND in 2019? Anyone? No, I'll tell you. It was the great Rob Burrow. No, start the question. What two letters begin German words meaning brass section of an orchestra, tin drum, cauliflower, to stay or remain, leaf or sheet, and lightning?
Cardiff boiling.
BL.
It is BL. Well worked out. Your picture bonuses then, Cardiff. Following on from John Singer Sargent's The Birthday Party, your picture bonuses are 3 more paintings of birthday celebrations, this time all from the 20th century. Name the artist in each case. First, this folk artist.
20th century? Oh.
Well, it's not Lowry.
I know. I was like,
That's all I
almost,
know.
almost. Oh, good go. I don't know. Just say Florida.
No, I don't know. Turner?
No, it's Grandma Moses or Anna Moses. Secondly, another American artist.
You know.
No. I've never seen that.
Pass.
Dorothea Tanning. And finally,
Is that Picasso?
It kind of looks like
It kinda looks
like
like
the profile looks like.
Picasso?
no, it's Marc Chagall. Let's start a question now. Name any one of the 3 successive years that saw these countries admitted to the United Nations. Comoros, Mozambique, Samoa, Djibouti.
Cardiff Gilbert.
1975.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, well done. 75 or 76 or 77. 3 questions on signal processing. What 5-letter portmanteau name is given to a program that processes an image, audio or video signal for transmission or can reverse the process for playback? Compressive examples of these programs are classified as lossy or lossless.
Conversion is like MPG. Conversion.
Comp something. Like compression.
Well, yeah, conversion is in the question.
I don't know. Pass.
Codec. The LAME, or LAME codec, converts digital audio into which file format developed by Karl-Heinz Brandenburg, allowing music to be stored in a heavily compressed form?
Probably like MP3.
MP3?
Yes. Encoding into MP3 is performed using a discrete transform developed by Nazir Ahmed and based on what mathematical function? Besides a constant,
Probably a
an even
Fourier transform?
No, it's cosine that we were after.
Oh, okay.
Bad
Sorry.
luck. Another start the question now. In chemistry, for what pair of opposite qualities do the initials H and S stand in the theory known as HSAB, proposed by the US chemist Ralph Pearson in the 1960s as a means of classifying acids and bases?
Cardiff Gilbert.
Hydrochloric and sulfuric.
No. Anyone from Queens would have a go? At least you're honest about not knowing. Hard and soft. Let's start a question. The word Lewisian from the Scottish island often precedes the name of what metamorphic rock, distinguished from schist by its foliation?
Cardiff Gilbert.
Pumice.
No. Anyone will have
Queen's Thompson.
Shield.
No, the answer is nice. Let's start a question. Nisan, Elul, and Tishrei are among the names of months in the calendar of which religion?
Cardiff Tarsala.
Islam.
No.
Queen's McKillen.
Hinduism?
No, it's Judaism. Let's start a question. What term for a class of symmetries and associated theories in physics can also indicate the spacing of rails in a railway track, or more generally,
Cardiff Holham.
Gauge.
It is gauge. Well done. Your bonus is then Cardiff. 3 questions on a philosopher. Active in the 17th century, which English thinker describes the title of his well-known work of political philosophy as, quote, a commonwealth or state which is but an artificial man and in which the sovereignty is an artificial soul?
Leviathan? No.
Hobbes.
Hobbes, yeah.
Hobbes?
It was Hobbes, of course. Yeah, Leviathan was published in 1651. Following his Leviathan, Thomas Hobbes wrote a history of the period spanning the Civil Wars, or Wars of the Three Kingdoms. This work bears the name of which other biblical monster?
It's not Leviathan.
It's Baal the dragon or something.
There's the one on beasts. Is it Goliath?
Go.
Oh, yeah. Goliath?
No, that was Behemoth. Hobbes was the first to make an English translation of which Greek historian whose major work concerns the struggle between Athens and Sparta?
Thucydides.
Yes, from his Peloponnesian War. Let's start the question. In 2012, who became the first person to break the sound barrier without a vehicle when he jumped from an altitude of almost 40...
Queen's McKillen.
Felix Baumgartner.
It is. Your bonuses are on snooker terminology. In each case, give the single word term from the clues. First, a shot wherein the cue ball hits a secondary ball after hitting the original object ball. This word can also describe a gunpowder weapon and follows the word Tsar in the name of an 890 caliber example located at the Moscow Kremlin.
Tsar, something.
Gunpowder.
Tsar bomb was a big nuclear bomb.
Yeah, it's not going to be that though.
Yeah, gunpowder device could be a bomb though, so. Could be a bomb.
Come on.
Bomb.
No, it's cannon. Secondly, hitting a target ball into another ball to make the pot. The same word is generally used to refer to any species within the broad taxonomic kingdom of life that includes the embryophytes and sometimes various algae.
Any thoughts?
Was it?
I thought it was double, but it's not.
Go for it.
Right, double.
It's a plant. And finally, very light contact made between two balls. The same word appears in the title of a sculpture by Auguste Rodin, completed in 1898.
Very late. Is it a kiss?
Kiss, yeah.
Kiss.
Yes, it is a kiss. Well done. Now let's start the question. Meaning country, province or territory, what Sanskrit-derived word appears in the names of 5 of the 28 states of India?
Queen's Rankin.
Pradesh.
It is Pradesh. Well done. Your bonuses are on video games developed entirely or almost entirely by a single person. Give the title of each game from the description. First, a 2013 game developed by Lucas Pope, in which the player takes on the role of an immigration officer working at Grestin border checkpoint in the fictional country of... And that will go on Cardiff have 70 points, and Queen's University Belfast have 180. And the answer to that last one was papers, please. But were you about to say that?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't, so tough. Cardiff, you've got to be present for the first 20 minutes of the game. But, you know, it was such a shame because it's all about momentum. And once you guys got going, you're absolutely on a roll. It's just you got going about 15 minutes too late, which is a huge shame. But and also your tactic of just randomly saying the word hook also, unfortunately, didn't work.
Could happen sometime.
It could have happened sometimes, exactly. But have you enjoyed this run on University Challenge?
Yeah, I think so.
Good. Well, we've loved having you, and you've been hugely entertaining and brilliantly clever, so well done. You lost to a really strong team. Queens, that was a terrific performance, and you got off to such a great start. I've got to ask you about your very bizarre mascot, which I was thinking we might see again. Is it the same as the potato that came in the first round?
It is, yeah. He's been living in my fridge for a while now.
If you win this competition, we're going to have a very unhygienic potato.
We'll plant them and grow new potatoes.
Fantastic. We'll have to have a word with health and safety. Well, well done. We shall see you again, and I hope we'll see you again next time for the last of the second round matches. But until then, it is goodbye from Cardiff.
Bye.
Bye.
It's goodbye from Queens.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.